Yeah, look, obviously disappointing news. Initially we kind of thought it wasn't too serious because obviously the medical team was sort of worried about kind of structurally how the knee was, but it seemed pretty good. But it kind of blew up the day after, and we kind of knew there was an issue there. So he's had surgery, and they put him out for at least a few months.
So, okay for the start of next season?
We'll see, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I've only got sort of basic information at the moment in terms of recovery, but certainly put him out for a while.
There's another injury in that specific part of the pitch. How's your luck?
Look, I mean, it's just, I guess it's just reflective and consistent with everything else sort of happened this season. I've said a few times we just haven't had a smooth run at things. Every time we look like we're kind of getting to a place where, we're looking in decent shape squad-wise or even sort of personnel-wise, invariably we've been hit, and obviously the last few weeks, again, it's, just circumstance that it's happened probably in the one area of the park.
Can I ask you about Lucas Bergwell? Because we thought that he was out the rest of the season, but there's some suggestion floating around that he might have made an incredibly fast recovery and might be available at some point.
No, it's sort of still the same sort of time frame. It was never like a long-term one, but he's literally just got out of the boot and, just sort of taking his first tentative steps on the grass, but unlikely to be, won't be available.
So in terms of this balancing act, obviously massive game, we're not here to talk about now, next week. Mm-hmm. Does the integrity of the competition at all come into it? You know how big the game is for Tottenham and for Manchester United, but United have got Chelsea, you've got Villa. The other teams in that fight for the top five probably going to watch what teams you put out, how you perform. Is that a consideration?
No, I think we're certainly going to go out there and try and win the game tomorrow and put out a team that hopefully gets that job done. I'm not sure about the integrity. I think there have been times this year when we've had to field weakened teams because of injury. Does that affect integrity? So, people are thinking that there's some sort of competitive balance that exists that doesn't exist over the course of a season. So I'll be very surprised if people are questioning our integrity to try and win a game of football tomorrow.
No, I wasn't questioning it. I'm assuming you'll put out, a team that you think can win the game.
Yeah, I'll put the team out that I think will do its best to win a game of football, yeah.
Hi, Ange. Aston Villa obviously are guaranteed a spot in Europe next season. Of course, they're still pushing for a Champions League spot. I know you said after the game against Crystal Palace you weren't so happy with how some of the players who did come into the starting lineup performed. What do you want to see from the players who do play tomorrow night, from your point of view?
Yeah, I think, as I said, I mean, we understand the sort of the challenging situation we're in, and particularly the players, because when you're making sort of 7 or 8 changes in a team lineup, sort of throwing players together, it is very difficult for them. But even within that context, I still felt we could have performed better on the day, collectively and individually, and that's a challenge for the players, to try and seize the opportunity that's before them. There's a game tomorrow where obviously we want to, try and perform well and pick up a result, but also an opportunity for them to kind of put their name forward for, the big game the following week, because as we've already seen in the past couple of weeks, as much as you like to think there's sort of an ideal starting lineup, things happen and players will have to be ready for that. And tomorrow night's an opportunity for those guys to sort of put their hand up.
With all of these spate of injuries, I mean, how has that affected the morale of the team? Because it seems like whenever you've done really well in the Europa League, you lose a key player. And what has it done for yourself in terms of being able to plan ahead to the next game?
Look, I guess because it's been a constant with us during the year, we've kind of become almost accustomed to it. And I think it would probably be a bigger issue if sort of we've had a smooth run all year and sort of got hit with injuries now, and we kind of had to deal with missing key players. But we've pretty much been without key players the whole season. There hasn't been a time where you kind of go, we've had a 3 or 4 week spell with our strongest lineup fairly settled. So, the boys are sort of getting on with it. They're disappointed for the people involved. Obviously, Decky being the latest one, because he had a fantastic sort of first part of the year for us and was just working his way back into it. But at the same time, as I keep saying, to the group all along, you can't pick and choose when these opportunities come along. There could be other years where we don't have these disruptions and don't have injuries, but we don't get to a final. So the reality of it is now the opportunity's there, and whatever happens between now and then, we've got to make sure we're ready for it.
I know you mentioned Dejan Kulusevski is out for this game and for the next couple of months. In terms of HeungMin, could he make the starting lineup tomorrow? Is he fit enough? Has he progressed enough?
He'll definitely play tomorrow. Whether we start with him or not, we'll have a look at. But he definitely he reacted well to sort of playing the other day. There was no issues with his foot. He's trained well, and it makes sense for him to get more match minutes. Could be as a starter. If not, he'll definitely play at least half a game tomorrow.
Hi there, Ange. Just away from the club, or momentarily anyway, I just wondered what you made of Josh Keeley and Jamie Donnelly and how they've done getting through to the playoff final.
Yeah, I watched the game last night. It was a cracking game, and super pleased for both of them. When players go on loan, obviously the key for it is for them to get sort of match minutes and development. I think both of those guys have, but it's even better if they're sort of part of something that could be special for them in terms of success. I think that helps as well in terms of their own sort of self-belief and being part of something successful. So super pleased for them. It'll be a great occasion, and hopefully they get through.
You see them both having a future, a long-term future at time?
Look, I think with all these things, they're for the sort of the off-season when guys come back. Right now, our focus is pretty much fairly on what's happening in the next 2 weeks.
On your squad right now, there's one player obviously we haven't seen for a while. It's Timo Werner. I think it's 3 months since the last time he was in the
He's injured,
squad.
mate. He's injured. He's got a hamstring injury, yeah.